Lesson 13.3, Part B. Now, we just came up with the first three trig functions, sine, cosine, and tangent. Again, how did I get those things? Well, we must remember from the other page that we noticed that the y value of the coordinate was considered the opposite side of a right triangle. The x value was considered the adjacent side of a right triangle. And if it's on the axes, then the radius will be one of those two. In this case, since it's on the x-axis, the radius will be the same length as your x value, but positive. So I wrote negative x down there in a circle to tell you that it went left. Okay, but since it's going to be the same as the radius, to keep it in one variable form, we'll just call it negative r. Then the radius is just the positive value of it. So this then is also the radius. In other words, the hypotenuse. Once we have the first three, then the other three trig functions will just be the reciprocals. So cosecant of theta would be r over 0, which would be undefined. Cosine would be secant of r over negative r, which is negative 1. And tangent, or cotangent, now, would be negative r over 0, which would also be undefined. So even if it's on an axis, we have to think a little bit more, but in terms of how do we get the radius, but we can still find out all 6 trig functions. All right. Reference angles. A couple key things here. No matter what angle you come up with, what degree, reference angles are going to be always acute, and it's going to be the angle between the x-axis and the terminal side. Terminal side meaning where your angle stops. So 160 degrees would take you past 90 and almost to 180. If this is theta, then theta r, or the reference angle, is the degree it takes to get from that terminal side down to the x-axis. So in this case, it would be 180 minus 160, which would equal 20 degrees. Again, it's positive, it's acute. Okay. Next one, negative 110. Negative 110 takes you past, it's negative rotation, so past negative 90 here, somewhere. The reference angle is whatever it takes to get from the terminal side to the x-axis. All right, now that would be 180 minus 110. Again, whatever makes it supplemental, and that would give you 70. Now remember, reference angles are positive. So theta r, or reference angle, is 70 degrees. So positive. 275 takes us past 90, past 180, past 270. So theta is 275. From the terminal side to the x-axis, this is theta r, or reference angle. And that's, again, what it would take to get to the x-axis. Now, since this is almost a full rotation, we could do 360 minus 275. That would be 85, I believe. Yep. 85 degrees. Again, acute, positive. If it's in radians, we have negative 3/4 pi, or negative 3 pi over 4. Negative rotation, this is pi over 2, and the x-axis is pi, so it's going to be between there. So again, the reference angle would be whatever it takes to get from the terminal side to the x-axis. Again, this is pi, negative pi if you're rotating that way. What's it take? Oops, I'm sorry. Pardon me. This is 3/4 pi. Well, that would be, in other words, pi minus 3 pi over 4. Just trying to find out what's its supplement. That would be pi over 4. So reference angle, theta r, is equal to pi over 4 in radians. Now you have a unit circle, and you can find these values on that. Negative 60 degrees would take you to here, and we look at our unit circle and decide what is that value. And your unit circle should read pi over 2 for cosine, and you have a value for sine as well, but you're focusing on cosine. 5 pi over 4 takes you to, excuse me, went too far. 5 pi over 4 would take you to, here's 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4 takes you to there. On the unit circle, again, your coordinate is cosine and sine. Remember this. Cosine is the first value, sine is the second. So cosine of 5 pi over 4 would be negative root 2 over 2. Cotangent of negative 150. Well, negative 150 takes you to here. Alright, well, cotangent is the reciprocal of tan. So let's find tangent of that. Tangent of negative 150, alright, would give us root 3 over 3. But they want cotangent. So we have to flip that, which means we have to rationalize that, which would give us 3 root 3 over 3, or just root 3. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So let's find sine at negative 2/3 pi. Negative 2/3 pi. Now we're talking about sine. So sine is root 3 over 2. Negative. So that means cosecant is the reciprocal of that. So 2 over, or negative 2 over root 3. And we rationalize. We get negative 2 root 3 over 3. So even if it's a reciprocal function, find the regular function and just reciprocate what you have and rationalize if necessary. This ends lesson 3.3.